a device used to conjure spirits from beyond, be them malevolent or benevolent. A board and planchette used for over a century now. Anyone can pick one up for a fairly reasonable price and have it arrive directly to their home. The Mystifying Oracle, otherwise known by its more common name, Ouija.
It's only a game, isn't it? A staple of all things paranormal and the focus point of Alex Kister's newest project. I feel as though Alex needs no introduction at this point, but we'll go ahead and do one anyways. Alex Kister, 20-year-old amateur filmmaker, hailing from the Midwest of the United States. Notable for works such as his skin-crawling reimagining of Mariana Morley Grove, a personal favorite of mine, and today's digital horror piece, The Mystifying Oracle. And of course, the very historical series that is arguably responsible for ushering in an entire new generation of unfiction, the Mandela Catalogue. Before we get into The Mystifying Oracle, I want to preface this by saying I'm kind of gonna be all over the place. The series has a lot of little intricacies, not only just narratively, but also visually, like through the use of digital horror. So there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to stop and talk about that may not make sense in the moment or are just really cool uses of digital horror that I want to harp on. But just keep with me as I'm going to come around at the end of the video and sort of just compile all the evidence so that you can get a clearer picture, as well as give you my own personal theories on it, because I'd say the series' true meaning is very ambiguous at best. Enough of explaining though, let's take a look at the series' first entry. Mystifying Oracle 1, Salutatio. Salutatio being a Latin or Greek phrase for a greeting, basically meaning hello. We open with a Milton Parker commercial for the Ouija board. We get the phrases wrote on the back of the box. Will I ever be tall enough to slam dunk? Will my parents let me go to the concert?
Moving it. Would you just quiet? I'm trying to concentrate here, and I'm not moving it.
And then we get an old eBay listing. Vintage 1972 Parker Brothers Mystifying Oracle talking board. Haunted. We get our recorder and a box stating, "You are responsible for everything going forward." We then get an unboxing of the board. And here's one of those things that I really want to give props for. This video's aspect ratio is in 4:3, which is basically a set of resolutions. We actually see a lot of these projects get uploaded in 4:3, so this isn't inherently a very impressive thing, but there's more to it. We have this really authentic low bitrate video footage, the randomly widening pixels and how the pixels will bleed over when there's a lot of movement. Also, the sound overall is super crunchy itself. It has this very authentic later 2000s YouTube feel, and most projects to achieve this, however, will just upload the video in 360p, 144p, just overall lower bit rates. The thing with this video is that it's uploaded in full 1080 HD. YouTube has a notoriously rough encoder, it really loves to compress your videos at these lower resolutions, which is why people will render in these lower resolutions to achieve this effect. But for this to be in 1080p, 4:3 aspect ratio, and then be at whatever bitrate it is and still look this way, basically what I'm getting at is it is very impressive all the factors that are working against each other to make this video look this way. It is also why this specific first entry looks completely different as opposed to the later ones, and that is almost certainly a narrative thing. Anyways, after the unboxing, we get a Windows Movie Maker transition to a date 10:49 p.m. December 19th, 2008, solidifying that the series is in fact taking place in the latter half of the 2000s. We get a recorder using the Ouija board asking, "Is anyone here with me?"
Is there anyone in this room with me?
We cut to another transition slide stating, "I felt something terrible," before being shown more footage recorded. A few hours later, rolling into the next day at 12:32 a.m., the planchette now moving across the board on its own. We get another cut, this time 3:44 a.m., which is the prime hour for all paranormal activity, known as the Witch's Hour or also the Devil's Hour. The planchette moving along the board by itself again, spelling out the letters H-E-L-L-O, as we hear the spirit.
Hello?
The planchette throws itself off of the board. Our recorder points out the audio as we get another replay.
Hello?
Then we're shown a photo of the board now thrown across the couch and the planchette laying on the table. Once again, we get another slide to the text saying, "Hello," before being met with our final segment of the video. Our recorder walks through their lightless home, coming upon an open window. The footage slows down as the recorder raises their flashlight to what appears to be a head peering inside of their window. We get a slow pan into the figure as our first video comes to a close. The second entry into the Mystifying Oracle is titled Evocatio, another term with various meanings and origins, but we'll go with the Roman version. Basically, it's invoking a spirit to take on a new location or a new home. So the second video starts with this really weird Japanese news section, which I've translated for you, but I'm just gonna let it play out first so you get like a vibe of how weird it is.
Viral video from the United States has surfaced online of a mysterious ghost story. Apparition captured by 21-year-old Joel Hayes on YouTube.com. Hayes' channel has become an overnight sensation. In an online interview, Hayes has confirmed that the footage is authentic and there is more to be seen. Stay tuned for more information regarding Hayes' wonderful and mysterious experience.
It has this very early internet style editing to it that I could like see being like a real online internet news source. But then you also have like this weird half English, like Japanese accent, like text-to-speech voice going on. It's just such an odd vibe, and we get another one of these later on as well. But from this one, we get confirmation of our recorder's name, which is Joel Haynes. The translation for the text reads as follows. A new viral video from the US has surfaced online of a mysterious ghostly apparition captured by 21-year-old Joe Haynes' YouTube. The Haynes channel became an overnight sensation. We then have an interview between Joel. The viral video has been mixed receptions from skeptics, to which Joel replies, "Yes, the footage is entirely authentic, and I plan on catching presumably more." In an online interview, Haynes confirmed the footage is real and there's more to see. Stay tuned for more on Hayes, a strange and mysterious experience. This opening news broadcast, as well as giving us Joel's name, also shows us that the first video in Mystifying Oracle that we've already seen went completely viral, and now Joel has been quickly thrown into being a prominent internet figure almost overnight. Even though the text from this interview is cut off, we can clearly see that Joel isn't willing to throw this shot of fame away, and that he is likely planning on capturing more evidence of these ghosts. We then cut to Joel setting up the board once again. A camera on the tripod, candles around the board, and sage lie on the floor. We also see a sticky note placed upon the board stating not to open it. We get Joel on a call with his friend Chloe.
You didn't tell me you're internet famous.
I mean, kinda.
How'd you do it? Like, string? Magnets?
Neither.
Really? Did you read the comments?
I'm gonna try not to.
They really want to see more.
Yeah, I'm pretty aware. I'm not doing. I can't do practical.
How's your mom doing?
I visited on like Friday, and the nurse said that she'll be out within like a week or so.
You're gonna tell her about this, right?
Maybe. Well, no, probably not. I don't want her to be worrying about another thing right now.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you cutting out?
Joel, is that screaming?
Another update slide. December 28th, 2008. A little over a week since our first viral video. The water has stopped running. The air smells of burnt matches. My mom was pushed down the stairs. Stay tuned! As well as a picture of Joel and his Ouija board. Before we go to the next section, there's some stuff I really want to break down here. Firstly, the call with Chloe and her hearing the screams, even though it is completely silent from Joel's perspective, which is our perspective, is such a good scare. It is absolutely so effective to me. It's incredibly psychological because there's technically not a scare here. If anything, there is the absence of the scare, which is more terrifying. Like the thought of what is Chloe hearing that we are not hearing at the moment. Joel is very determined to not fake his videos regardless of the intention he's getting, so he wants them to be authentic, but he still seems to want that fame. We also learn of his mom getting pushed by the stairs, probably from that entity that he summoned, and I have a sneaking suspicion as to that's the reason the sticky note is on the Ouija board to begin with, is because she probably opened it, got hurt, and then Joel said, no more. Like, don't open the box, there's a sticky note on it now. That'll solve everything. I couldn't find any reason as to why the water stopped running, although I found a couple like spur comments of people being like, yeah, running water ghosts can use to like conduct themselves and like reappear in places. As for the burning matches, the smell of burning matches is specifically sulfur, which is something people have stated that they smell when a ghost has manifested themselves around them, so that's what that one means. Our next clip is Joel lighting some candles and once again interacting with the board. We get a freeze on the footage with 4 symbols appearing. The first being the Leviathan's cross or Devil's cross, this being the actual cross that most Satanists associate with the religion as opposed to the upside down cross. The next to the right is the sigil of Lucifer or seal of Satan, also from the Church of Satan's belief system. The next on the bottom left is the seal of, I don't know how to pronounce that, and I probably shouldn't with all this stuff around me, so I'm not going to. Depending on interpretation, this name right here is either Satan themselves or like Satan's right-hand man, although I don't really think it matters what interpretation you go with in this context. And lastly, the sigil of Flaris, yet another demon. We then get another seance with Joel.
Are you still there? Did you put my mom in the hospital?
Joel then points the camera up to the same window we previously saw the face staring in from. We're then cut to a sleep recorder app, now boasting a new video added functionality. Basically, when the app detects movement or noise, it'll click on and take a video for you that you can then watch later on. Joel gets ready for bed, turns out the lights, and we're left with a slight glow from the window. Recording 1 is just some shuffling of Joel in his sleep, nothing of note really. However, recording 2, and warning for a very audible but totally off-screen, not seen, completely fictional, done for artistic reasons, please YouTube, don't strike me down, farm scene. We get this weird audio. I don't know how to describe it, so just listen. And it's facing this dark doorway. We cut to the Ouija board. Now the visual quality of the series has seriously dropped. We have these really washed out yellow colors, as well as the audio being more compressed with more background noise being picked up. We can hear Joel fumbling around with something before dropping a shaving razor. The video continues, and you can probably guess what's going to happen next. Joel's first drop of blood onto the planchette falls, and we hear a faint growling. As more drops fall, we get even more of these sounds, as well as the planchette being singled out in the video. We get a color change, and then perhaps a familiar screaming that Chloe heard. As Joel runs off, the sounds grow louder, and our video distorts. Before cutting to recording 3. However, during the distortion, pausing on this frame will yield you with a face of one of these specters haunting Joel. Recording 3 starts with some chaotic, hellish noise. As we peer at the window, our previous face was found outside of, before it disappears, and we're now met with the dark window in Joel's room. A light turns on, and as we see Joel sleeping in his bed, a shadowy figure walks away, after looking upon him for a moment, before walking up to him again. We then get the closing text. Not much activity this time. Okay, Joel. Moving along to our final and most recent entry, Mystifying Oracle 3 in Limbo. Pretty self-explanatory with this one, but if you don't know what Limbo is, it is the space between heaven and hell. You weren't bad enough for punishment in hell, but you weren't good enough to enjoy the gifts of heaven. So you're just kind of in this in-between realm. We open to another news broadcast. This time, the Japanese text is scrolling across the screen. We get some cameos by the end of some of the people in the horror community, but the really big thing here is the scrolling text and how me painstakingly translated it piece by piece for all of you. So don't say I don't do anything for you, because I put in a lot of work sometimes. And maybe that work isn't the most cohesive thing in the world, but I got the translation as close as I think I'm going to. I even ran it by Alex, and he's like, yeah, you got the gist of it, so we're gonna fumble the bag here a little bit, but you get the point. The translation goes as follows. Joel Hayes has uploaded again to the J. Hayes Video YouTube channel, famous for his recent use of the haunted eBay Ouija board. He shows you how to use the Sleep Recorder Pro app, and then shows you how to use a razor to SH. Encountered with major controversy, Haynes appears to be distancing himself from the internet. However, his videos have become popular rapidly, and a large number of people are waiting for his feedback. Surely he could slam his creations endlessly without fear or pressure or expectations from thousands of new fans. Haynes made a mistake, and he knows it. Something bad is happening to him. He can never undo his mistakes with words. He will never be able to live peacefully with these thoughts forever. He constantly daydreams about the life he could have if he wasn't so hungry for attention. We're taken to the title screen. J. Haynes presents In Limbo. The quality of these videos by this point has dropped immensely. We get a DVR playback of the window our face was seen from, as well as a clear lacking of any of the skyline that used to be seen here. The date is December 30th, 08, 9 a.m., 2 days after our phone call with Chloe. Text on the screen reads, "It got dark outside. Darker than usual. I should be able to see the city lights. Or the stars." We cut to the house phone with another voicemail from Chloe.
「
Joel tries to dial the phone, but is instead sent to voicemail.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Later the same day, we get a shot of the camera solely focused upon the Ouija board. We then pan up to a shot of the home, now retrofitted with cameras all throughout it. A shot of a room with windows, the doorway we heard the noise from, the front door, a shot of the window we see the face in, another shot of a window, the home phone, and then 2 cameras that have been shut down. We cut to one of the cameras, and then we cut to the feed that is being shown. We get the room, with Joel coming in saying,
Want to do my tricks for the camera? I have a lot of fun.
We then cut to a Ouija board, which I'm just going to let the scene play out, but I want you to notice how distorted this section is. Like I've stated, from the first episode to this one now, the footage is destroyed.
Where am I? Did you do this?
The board spells out the words, "You," as we hear a doorbell ring. Now at the front door camera, we see a very janky moving Joel walking up to the door. Before just stopping and staring. We can also assume that Chloe is probably the one knocking at the door because we just heard on the voicemail that she said she would be coming over. We get another shot of the room and these clicking camera noises as the footage distorts. I'm not entirely sure of the whole meaning of this, but the photos on the wall eventually turn into the sun and the moon, which are both 2 very common faceplates on a Ouija board. We get an update video from Joel again, and I'm gonna let it play out here, but really pay attention to the way that Joel says certain things and the phrasing that he's using, because it is incredibly odd, and I think it is a very important piece in solving the mystery.
Okay. I just wanted to give a quick update video as to where I've been, the lack of updates and stuff like that. As a lot of you may know, the last update video did get taken down for a guideline strike, which I probably should have expected. But I've been getting a lot of comments and emails asking if I was okay, if I was in danger and stuff. And I'm not in danger, I promise. Everything is my own doing, and it's just part of the process, and I don't regret it, so that's okay.
In this video, we also see the 3 videos that Joel tried to upload, with the text, "Please reconsider what you're uploading," and the final being, "Ritual Part 32, doing what they told me to do." After this, we get another date, March 19th, 2009, over 3 months since our last dated video. I think the darkness is starting to seep in. Another playback from the cams around the house, this time the doorway. Look closer. Some odd knocking, stomping can be heard. Before we're shown the board again, now spelling out the words, "Purify." For a split second, we're shown the room with the sun and moon again. However, on the wall, we now have a painting, Image of Purgatory, a detail on a much larger piece titled Coronation of the Virgin altarpiece. If the title being in Limbo didn't click it all together for you, then maybe this literal depiction of purgatory will do it. Once again, another one of these cameras. This time, the home phone camera. This segment is just chilling. Very unvisible what's happening, but we get these bizarre noises, ranges from stuff that sounds like somebody choking, very loud ambient droning, as well as Chloe being heard throughout it, asking if Joel has been oversleeping again.
I just tried stopping for her. Are you oversleeping again? Let me know when you want to hang out, alright? Here for you. You know that.
As the phone cuts to black, we have this gaining drone. And a window is revealed, illuminated by a light. The planchette glides across the Ouija board again, not spelling out anything that I can discern, but eventually just sliding across the goodbye as our video degrades even further. The sun and moon look upon me and worry. Once again, we're shown the room with the paintings. This time, however, the painting is of an eye peering through a window. We see the phone again, and the window our face stared from. The hallway we heard those strange sounds through, and finally, the eye in the window. We get a quick glimpse of the Ouija board. The recorder pans up to darkness before we're met with the monitors of the home cameras. As they turn off one by one, we see a face appear in the window camera for a brief moment before it shuts down. Our final camera left on is the front door. We then cut to a POV taking place in front of the front door. We witness it open by itself. Only a black void lays on the other side of the door. Our recorder walks through into this darkness. We get an old YouTube buffering error.
What about people who use it just for fun?
There's no such thing as fun with this. You don't have fun with devils. This is a devilish, demonic sort of thing. Whether it's necromancy or whatever, dealing with familiar spirits, you don't want to have any part of it. So there's no such thing as for fun.
Having the captions on after our televangelist gives us a talk about not playing with demons, we have the Bible quote, Matthew 5:26, "Truly I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny." Rounding out Mystifying Oracle up until this point. And now for the breakdown of Mystifying Oracle. Now, fair warning, I could be completely off the mark here with my theory, but I genuinely believe that the theory I've came up with holds to some level of significance. But first, I really want to harp on the series' way of establishing itself in the later half of the 2000s. There's just so many little details that solidify it, like the older comment section, or the older uploading section too, or this weird internet Japanese news show. The editing on that feels so intentional, and it feels like something that's ripped from my childhood. I've seen this type of video before. It's done so perfectly. Between the very authentic footage quality, the title slides, and this Windows Movie Maker editing, Mystifying Oracle really just nails that late night scrolling, paranormal, early internet ghost video, while also still feeling like a very modern internet horror project. And it's in that internet horror project area that my theory might fall apart, because there's a lot of details in this series, and I'm almost positive that I've missed a couple. What I did catch, however, I think we can draw a pretty clear picture of what's going on here. Starting with our first video, I think it's pretty clear cut. It's just an introduction, and I don't think there's a whole lot to be gained from that. We're introduced to the video that caused Joel to go viral, having him interact with this haunted Ouija board, eventually receiving the response hello, and we're greeted with the face looking into the window. The second video, we get a glimpse into the world. Joel is now viral even across the sea in Japan, and desperate to retain this fame, Joel doubles down on this ghost hunting adventure, to the point that his mom even gets hospitalized by an entity pushing her down the stairs, to which Joel thinks will be a great piece of content, even boasting about it in his slides. His relationships are clearly deteriorating. Chloe asks if he's going to tell his mom in a very there's no way you're not gonna tell her, right? To which Joel just replies with, nah, she doesn't need another thing to worry about. Not only are we seeing Joel's relationships deteriorate, but also we're seeing the quality of the footage deteriorate. A very visual representation of Joel's mental state. We think of the stuff with the sleep recorder app or the video cameras all throughout Joel's house, and this is where I think my theory either starts to gain weight or is completely thrown off. At this point, Joel is doing everything to keep the relevancy of his channel, from installing video cameras around his house to catch literally anything, or messing with the board more, or setting up these rituals that we see him doing. It's also here in the second episode that we get the scene of Joel doing the ritual, which I personally don't believe what we're shown is what was uploaded to his channel to start the controversy in the first place. We have things like this community post tied to Mystifying Oracle that is from the II company, which is the company that is producing the sleep recorder. However, II was met with a lot of negative association after a viral YouTube video displaying the app's new functionality was used to showcase graphic and grotesque acts. As of now, the video by user J Haynes Video has been removed by YouTube by violating terms of service, but has been circulating around the internet on sites such as liveleak.com. No response from J Haynes Video has come out despite the massive amounts of attention that has come his way. II has yet to make any kind of statement on the matter. Or we also have the translated Japanese text from the In Limbo opening. He shows you how to use the Sleep Recorder Pro app and then shows you how to do a ritual, which these statements lead me to believe that the video that was posted that sparked this controversy didn't have anything to do with ghosts in general, and it wasn't the ritual that we saw. It is in fact a completely different video entirely. The reason being is that Joel has interacted with these demons so much, and he's in such a desperate state to cling on to this fame, he's just doing what they tell him to do. And in a very any publicity is good publicity way, it works, and it keeps that spark going of his fame. And here's where I think I might lose you or be completely off track. Not only do I think that this was a stunt for publicity, but I think it is a very crucial moment where Joel severs his soul from his body. And with the finale of this video, we get that shadowy figure approaching Joel while he's lying in bed immediately after playing with the Ouija board. We then move into the next episode in Limbo, where I think my theory really starts to gain. First, we have the opening with that Japanese text where we have things like, he'll never be able to live peacefully with these thoughts forever, and he constantly daydreams of the life he could have had if he wasn't so hungry for attention. Throughout the whole video, the quality is horrendous, showing that Joel is very much at his breaking point. Immediately after the intro, we have the scene with the window, and there's not a single bit of light there, to which Joel comments on himself. I think this is a clear parallel to the sun and the moon. Joel's soul is in limbo, as the title states. He is in between the sun and the moon, which is why they look upon him and worry, because he is a lost soul wandering through the in-between space. We get more hints of this too, where he can't seem to answer phone calls. The physical body of Joel walking into the room, asking if he wants to do more tricks for the camera, To which we're then cut to a very confused Joel in front of the Ouija board. And what does he ask when he's in that room? He asks, "Where am I? And did you do this?" To which the board replies with, "You," as in you did this to yourself. We get Chloe at the door, but behind the door, Joel doesn't know what it is, so he just hovers. We then get that video of Joel in the dark talking to the camera, and in context now, what is the last thing he says?
Everything is my own doing, and it's just part of the process, and I don't regret it, so that's okay.
We have the text, "Unfortunately, I think the darkness is starting to seep in." Joel is well aware that he can't stay in this house and like this forever because eventually something's gonna happen. And heading towards the final shot at the end of the video, Joel finally opens the door, walking into the darkness, where we get a buffer and the sermon about not playing with demons before that text, "I truly tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny." I really think that Joel either separated his soul or is just somehow a ghost now. He gets that major virality from his first ghost video and has been chasing it ever since, regardless of how damaging it is to both his personal life and his literal physical health. He's set up these cameras all throughout his house so that he can catch more evidence of these ghosts, which in turn gives him more fame and just keeps that ball rolling. But it only worked for so long, and through playing with the demons within the Ouija board, they finally give him the idea. Hey, why try to catch us when you could just catch yourself? This is why all of Joel's posts never upload. This is why the world is so dark. The photo of purgatory, the cameras surrounding every aspect of his home. And when he finally leaves through that door, he probably goes to hell because, truly I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. He made a deal with demons for fame that ruined his life, his mother's health, and the people around him. He constantly daydreams of the life he could have had if he wasn't so hungry for attention. I think Mystifying Oracle has quickly become one of my favorite unfiction projects to ever exist. While it's not full to the brim with literal scares, the ones it has are truly amazing. The psychological horror that it puts you through trying to solve its many clues is some of the best I've seen. I absolutely love the ghost stuff. I love the authentic feel. I love how there's so many little things that still just open the series up to a world of possibilities. Like, I don't have an answer for the dude's head in the window, but I can still formulate my own very terrifying headcanon with what I do have. Alex proves himself time and time again that not only is he a very competent film director, but he's really good at making these very stuck-in-your-head horror stories. And also, why is he so good at making these little phrases that just rock me to my core? The sun and moon look upon me and worry. Or Mandela Catalogue's, I've deceived him, the Mandela Prophet. We have their prayers and their records. It begins today. And with that, I've been your host, Pat Ratrick, and until next time, don't be a YouTuber, I suppose.
I need you to let it go.